Oh, 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 uh-oh. We might have broken the game. Okay, I need to figure out what's going on suspension-wise here. So you've got the 7 key, the 8 key. Oh, it's got a piston lodged in there, so it extends it out. This thing has some reach. That's really, really awesome looking. So watch what happens when I hit the A and D key here. Look at that. Look how it spreads out. Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you guys another episode of Scrap Mechanic. Today we're going to be checking out some epic viewer creations. Now I do want to apologize about there being such a gap in between viewer creation episodes. I had a fit with the underwater base and how that all ended, and that took up a lot of time, so I didn't actually have time to do an actual proper viewer creations episode. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. Now, I'm still looking for some new theme to start up here in Scrap Mechanic as far as a big world, but I do have several vehicle builds planned here very soon, so be on the lookout for those. And remember, all the workshops are linked down in the description if you want to check out any of the creations you see here today. And let's jump right into this. Oh boy, where do we start here? There's so much excellent stuff here today, and it's really only by 2 creators. Now, we've got a little piston buggy. We'll call it a piston suspension crazy looking buggy over here. This thing's actually got a really neat system, the way it turns and the way the suspension works. We've got that. We've got this Kramer, I think it's like a, I don't know if I want to call this a dump truck, but whatever it is, it's a very nice piece of construction equipment. And we've got a Spintires Truck, and this thing, look how tall this is. Like, the Scrap Mechanic character isn't even as tall as the wheel. That is ridiculous. So we're going to be checking that out, and we have another truck over here. Now these 3 trucks, or 3 vehicles over on this side are by 1 creator, and the buggies by another creator. We're going to save this buggy here, because this thing has inspired me to do some upcoming off-road builds and rally stuff that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So anyways, let's go ahead and check out the first creation. Alright, so for our first creation here, we're going to be checking out this construction equipment. Now this is made by Dumb Things. That's kind of an odd name for creating some awesome stuff, but yes, it's by Dumb Things. Looks like most of this is in possibly German. I could be wrong. But yeah, it's a big thanks goes out to Brent Batch. It looks like maybe this was in a corrupt world and he saved it for him. He's got some instructions here, and I can't read really any of this, so I'm gonna wing it. One thing I do know is this thing looks so fantastic. Of course, it's using some mods. You can see, I believe that's possibly the sci-fi tire. There's some Lord Payne interior mods on the inside. I mean, just look at this. You know, when Scrap Mechanic first came out, I couldn't have imagined seeing stuff like this. Of course, that is due to mods, and some people aren't the biggest mod people, but I do embrace them. I do love the way they look, and they add a lot to the game, so let's go and check. Oh, Spiderweb's pretty intense, actually. A lot of bearings. Looks like he had that's a lot of bearings here on the bucket. I'm assuming this is really heavy and he needed them. So you've got that, you've got the arm. What kind of suspension are we running off of here? I don't see any. I see is that double bearings or? Okay, he's got double bearing turning, and it actually looks like it's hooked into a controller. Oh, there's some suspension right there. So this whole front piece is on, probably one on the other side. So 2 pieces of suspension right there. Looks like you got some Lord Payne. Those might be the plate mods. Pretty cool. Let's hop into this thing real quick. There's a door. Dude, look at this. This interior is awesome. This is using some of the Lord Payne parts. Oh, even the Scrap Mechanic character actually looks like he's grabbing the wheel. Of course, he's way too short for those pedals, but other than that, this is cool. This is inspiring me a bit. I'm ready to actually get in and start building again. So let's go ahead, close the door here. Let's see how this thing drives. Does it? My suspicion's right. Yeah, that is a front suspension there. You can see it somewhat moving. I'm trying to get a good view. The bucket's kind of in the way. I'm assuming the back has the same setup, possibly. It might just be the front that's got the suspension, but yeah, it compresses in and out. I don't know which suspension that is or which mod part that is, but does a pretty good job. This thing turns really sharp, actually. Surprisingly sharp. That's fairly impressive. So, yep, it conquers the terrain. Oh yeah, you can see the suspension working now. Alright, let's play with some buttons here and see exactly what happens. 2 key is your lights. Got some nice lights on there. Work at night. 3. Oh, it's got blinkers! Okay, so I'm assuming the 4 key is another blinker. So if you turn them both on, you have your caution lights. Turn one off. Turn the other on. That's cool. I like that a lot, actually. I'm assuming that's what that logic was down on the right side. So, I don't know. I've never really heard of this brand. I don't know if they're really based here in the US. It's Kramer, I believe. Or Kramer. I could be saying that wrong. But I've never really seen any. They could, of course, be here. I just haven't seen any. What is this here? Okay, so 5 doesn't seem to be doing anything. Or at least anything visible. Let's try 6. 6 isn't doing anything. Let's go to 7. Okay, 7's the arm. I'm curious. Those look like lights, maybe 5 and 6, but I don't know which lights they're actually, or which ones they actually are. I don't see them. But yeah, there's the arm there. How does this thing drive with the arm up? Oh, it drives kind of sideways with that up. I guess all the weights that's actually shifted there. So you've got the 7 key, the 8 key. Oh, it's got a piston lodged in there, so it extends it out. This thing has some reach. That's really, really awesome looking. All right, so you've got that. I'm assuming maybe the 9 key. Okay, that puts the bucket back. That's on like a engine. That's an actual button, I believe. So yeah, you can make it go back. I'm assuming the 0 key makes it dump. So yeah, you can really get some cool dumping action there. I don't know if that sounded right. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop the bucket. So if the bucket's down, does it bottom out? Yeah, it does. But it actually adjusts itself a bit. It looks like we might need to go up on that just a bit more. There we go. Push the bucket back. That is so cool. It's so practical. And oh, I'm going a bit sideways right now. Hold on. Has something? Oh, you know what? Since I couldn't read that, let's hit that 5 key again. Did it switch up the way this thing steers? Oh, it does. You know, that's the first time I've ever seen that. So that 6 key, you can go from the normal 4-wheel steering like this. When you hit that 6 key, it shifts it. And all of a sudden, you're kind of doing almost like a strafing. So I'm assuming you can kind of go up the side. I'm not really sure what you would use that for. The only thing I can think of is some sort of strafe motion, but it works pretty cool. I've never seen a vehicle do that. I think that's why the bearings for the steering were actually on controllers, so that makes a lot of sense. But overall, that is a fantastic creation. I love the way that looks, love everything about it. I definitely want to thank Dumb Things for sending that to me, and he's got a couple more creations we're going to check out real quick. Does it really get any more impressive than the construction equipment that we just checked out? I don't know. Let's check this out. This is from Spintires. I haven't played that game in a long time, so I can't really tell you exactly all about this. This is a U1650. Of course, we've got more German here. I'm thinking that's German. It looks like we got some blinkers. Not as many features on this one. Of course, this one doesn't have to be construction equipment. This is just a really, really huge vehicle. I would say scaling-wise, this is at least twice the scale of the Scrap Mechanic character, if not 3 times. But when you do vehicles this big, you can put a lot more detail on them. And this thing is really detailed. Everything from the huge wheels. Look at, you can see the engine compartment there. That might be using a Lord. Actually, that might just be parts that he put together. I was thinking it might be one of those Lord Payne. He's got a new engine or like a modular set where you can build your own, which I'm going to use that very soon. Back here, he's got some spare tires strapped down. Got like a fuel tank back here. What piece is that? It's like a slanted plate piece. Maybe it's a Lord Payne plate piece. It looks like straps that are tied down to all the stuff back here. That is cool. That's detailed. Question is, how does something this big drive? Or actually, how do I get into it? I'm assuming I can use that as a step. Once again, a really detailed interior. Looks like we might have an issue here. Looks like this didn't spawn right. Let's put it on a lift again and put it back and see if that steering wheel pops out. It's almost like it was jammed in there. Oh yeah, it popped out that time. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and hop back in here. I'm assuming he's using like a modular seat because of how big this is. I don't think Scrap Mechanic has that big of seats. So yeah, you can see all the detail here. What does it look like when we're setting in here? Yeah, that modular seat block makes you set a little low, but that's actually not too bad. If we can get some sort of reflective glass, that would be cool for the mirrors, but let's pull forward just a bit here and close this. There we go. Let's go off-roading, folks. This is cool. Okay, how far can we go back? All right, we can get a good view of this. Let's try some buttons. The 2 key, I'm assuming these are blinkers. Okay, you got your blinkers like the last vehicle. You've got your first lights, or I guess we'll call them the primary lights, and secondary lights. You know, it would be cool to do like some sort of night event with some off-road vehicles. Just kind of drive them around with your buddies. What the heck? Do you see how far that suspension went up? Oh, he's using some sort of arm suspension. Where's it actually connected to? That actually, it doesn't look like it's connected. Are we using a glitch here? Hold on, I have to see the suspension connect out. Oh, and of course I run into a tree. Let's try to go, let's hit some rocks here. Yeah, I'm looking to do possibly like a rally raid vehicle very soon and some rally cars, and I need to find some really unique suspension ideas. And yeah, that doesn't look like it's connected. I mean, it really extends out. There's some sort of invisible block there or some sort of glitch. I can't really see anything or any reason that is connected. I'll have to look at the spider web. Maybe that will tell us what's going on under there. But other than that, this is a really cool vehicle. Man, I need to get back into Spintires again. I kind of miss playing that game. This makes me want to play it a little bit more. This isn't any speed demon or anything. I mean, it's a purpose-built, probably like a supply truck that you can drive around. It's got a really neat suspension on it. I haven't really seen the backs move, so it kind of makes me think the back suspension is completely static and it doesn't actually move with the terrain. It's just the front suspension that's kind of doing all the work. Could be wrong. Nope, back suspension moves. Okay, we've confirmed that. I think the back of it's just a bit heavy, so you don't see it move as much. So yeah, that's pretty neat. I need to figure out what's going on there with that, but other than that, it's a cool vehicle. Could picture really speeding this up and having like a more of an off-road buggy and using the same suspension setup, because I feel like that's gonna work really good. Now on jumps, say we get some air there, that suspension, what the heck? That looks so odd. Uh-oh. We might have broken the game. Okay, I need to figure out what's going on suspension-wise here. Is the vehicle safe to hop out of? I don't know. I'm afraid I'm not gonna get it if I hop out. Okay, let's land. Oh, folks, it has gone crazy. Okay, maybe I don't want to use this suspension. It's really neat and it works good, but oh crud. All right, hit the tree. Gotta catch the vehicle. All right, here we go. Set it down. Calm down. Yeah. I have no clue what's going on there. I don't see any indication as to what's happening there. I think I'm gonna despawn this one, but nonetheless, it's a really cool vehicle. I'm a little worried about that suspension though, but really cool. All right, so we have another vehicle here. Now, I think this one is actually made out of vanilla parts. It's still by Mr. Dumb Things. We're kind of doing a little feature on him today. Him, and we've got another one by Nautilus. I believe I'm saying that right. We'll have to see that here in a second. But yeah, this one, I could have swore I read that it said vanilla somewheres, but nonetheless, it does look like it's pretty much made out of vanilla parts. This looks like a dump truck. And this is just another of his massive collection that I just wanted to try out because it looks really, actually quite neat. And yeah, this is vanilla parts. Yeah, these are all, yeah, so this is gonna satisfy my vanilla crowd. I'm just kind of giving a glance and, oh, those look glitched. All right, so that's the only thing that I can tell that are glitched here. It looks like he's got the little, I think that's an air duct piece. And he's put the, somehow got the light in there. I don't know how he's done that, but other than that, there is a pretty awesome spider web going on here. How do we get in the car? Is it down here? Okay, cool. All right, let's look at the interior. He's a interior master here. Looks pretty good for vanilla parts, must say. All right, let's go ahead and hit some buttons here on the dump truck. 1 key, okay, 2 keys, lights. 3 keys, mega lights. 4 key, of course. He's got blinkers on everything. Like, everything's so functional about his creations, and I love that. Kind of wish I would have done this a little bit more with my town creations. So you've got those. 6 key. Oh, he's got windshield wipers, even though I don't think we have a windshield, do we? Nope. That's, I mean, if we had modded parts, we probably could get one in there, but nonetheless, still cool. Get that. Turn that off. Let's see. 4 key is the actual dumping part. He's using a piston on a bearing. You can see the piston comes back a bit, lifts that up. There's another free bearing, I would guess, up towards the top. Pretty awesome. I got a radio with the 8 key, and I'm assuming it's a horn. Gotta have a horn. Looks like we got 4-wheel steering at the front. looks like I need to check that suspension setup. I'm actually intrigued by all of his little suspension pieces he's been using. This one drives actually quite well. Turns nice for a big creation. He's using mostly, from what I can tell, parts like the a lot of the air duct parts and slanted pieces or wedge pieces. They're not too heavy, but I'm kind of curious. That's got to be a mod piece, is it not? The white blocks. I need to try to delete one of those and see if I can delete them all at once, because I think this is all vanilla. Those could be those some of those staircase railing pieces, but they're all turned to the inside. If they are actually all of those, this would have been a pain to do. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The suspension works really well. I need to zoom out a bit here. Looks like he's using a solid arm across. Just got the 2 suspension pieces and a couple free bearings on there. That's actually a simple yet efficient suspension method, which if you're looking for something not over the top, I would definitely suggest going with that, especially if you're on the terrain map. Gonna speed around here, try to avoid some trees. Kind of want to take this into the town. Like, he's got a lot of construction stuff and functional stuff, and that would look great in the construction zone. Maybe we'll do something with the town again soon. He's got me kind of inspired to go back and check some stuff out. Let's go ahead and pop this up on a lift real quick. We've already kind of explained the back suspension. Front suspension is probably running off pretty much the same thing, except for you've got the extra double bearing steering. That's interesting. He's got double bearing steering on the front and single bearing steering on the back. So you got a little bit more turning in the front. You get the free bearings for the suspension. Overall, really cool setup, really creative. And first, let's do this one last thing here. I need to delete one of these parts and let's see what happens. It is. Look at that. Those are all little staircase wedge pieces. That is... Woo. The only person I used to know that... Well, not used to know, I still know him, that used to do this a lot, especially in his early creations in Scrap Mechanic. Diesel Designs used to do this a lot. I noticed all of his creations before the paint tool, all of them were actually orange. I was like, I wonder what he's doing, or why he doesn't use the metal pieces, but obviously they're lightweight, they're a lot easier to deal with. You just have to place a whole bunch of blocks down individually, so it's a little bit of a pain. But yeah, I definitely want to thank Dumb Things for... I can't get over saying that. I want to thank Dumb Things for sending stuff to me. Definitely cool workshop. Go check it out. Link down in the description. And I've got one more creation here to check out in this episode. Alright, we didn't get to too many creators here today, but we've got 2 out of the way here, and this little thing right here is a buggy that confuses me. At first, it took me several minutes to stare at this thing, and several times getting it off the lift, because sometimes this thing will flip out. Let's see if I can get it to do what it was doing earlier. Sometimes the one of the arms would go up instead of down, and I don't know why it would do that, but this is a off-road buggy, and it's so unique. Like, it's got piston steering, it's got these arms that come down, tons of free bearings. It's actually, I think, double piston steering. You see the pistons up here at the top, you got them at the bottom here. I think it just steers off the front. It's got a little thruster back here, and as far as I can tell, this is all vanilla parts. You've got the main buggy seat here. It's kind of got like a little PUBG setup. The buggy and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has got the one seat that aims backwards, which makes me feel very unsafe every time we drive it. But you've got this front seat up here too. So just from a functional standpoint, this thing is awesome looking. So watch what happens when I hit the A and D key here. Look at that. Look how it spreads out. And that takes a bit of patience to do with piston steering. I've worked with it a little bit. It's not hard, but with how many bearings he has here and how that arm actually works, yeah, that's a bit much for me. I don't know, I kind of want to get this good at suspension. Like, I say I'm pretty decent at suspension setups, but this is like a really high tier, way above what I can do. But yeah, as far as the way it functions, the only thing I don't really, and it's not really limited to this creation, piston steering typically feels like it has a bit more delay than your just direct bearing steering. So when you hit that A and D key, it's like it takes a couple milliseconds longer than anticipated for it to start to actually turn. So when you're really going on these off-road trails and stuff, you want to kind of turn ahead of when you actually need to turn, is what I'm saying. And That's hard to do. It's really hard to react like that. Like you wanna, when you see it visually, when you wanna turn, that's when you always should turn, but it works a little different to me in piston steering. And that may be me, and I don't remember that terrain piece. That's actually kind of new looking. I don't ever remember seeing a landing pad that's actually halfway covered. It's cool. But yeah, the little bit of delay gets me sometimes, but nonetheless, still really cool. Some people, this might not be an issue at all for them. The one button that it does have here, obviously, it's got a thruster on the back here, so we can hit that. Get some extra speed, probably way too much speed. Let's see, what's this thing look like when it jumps? Oh, here comes, oh, that's a big drop. Oh. Yeah, it's hard to judge. I should probably release the thruster when I'm in air, because sometimes the thruster is obviously going to carry it a bit, even though this is made purely out of metal on the bottom, so this is actually kind of heavy. Some people complained at me. One of the last off-roaders I created, I made it mostly out of medium blocks, and normally I put a heavy blocks on the bottom to give it stability, and especially when it gets up in the air for it to kind of sink down and not float. And a lot of people got mad at me last time I created one of those, so I'll keep that in mind for the off-roaders that I'm about to create. But anyways, I want to thank Mr., and I gotta get his name right here. I'm from Texas, I have problems with names. I don't know if that's really an excuse, but I'm gonna use that excuse. But yeah, this is by Nautilus, possibly. It's a no mod buggy, definitely fantastic. I want to thank him for sending that over. I am still accepting creations through my email. I'll flash that up once again on screen. I also accept creations through my Discord. I might typically get to those a bit faster because I'm constantly on that, so if you want to join that, that is also linked down in the description. Also, like I said, if you want to suggest for new world builds, we're going to be doing some scrap mechanic builds coming up very soon. Just had a rocky week and a half with work, and it's been that and the nightmare of what happened to the underwater base kind of threw me off on my scrap mechanic schedule, so I do apologize about that. But anyways, folks, hopefully you enjoyed the episode here today. Look forward to more Brick Rig, Scrap Mechanic, and I've got a couple other games that we're probably going to look at here very soon. And I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you guys next time on Scrap Mechanic. Thank you!